they have presented to this House, but I will check that. Question number 4, the Honourable Dr Jonathan Coleman.
To the Minister of Health. What measurable outcomes, if any, will his policies deliver?
Mr Speaker, Merry Christmas.
Honourable Dr David Clark.
Merry Christmas to that member. Delighted to answer his question. It would deliver better health for New Zealanders.
Yeah. Merry Christmas to you too. That's you as well, Mr Speaker, yes. Can he explain why he told unions that he was delivering on his promise of a pay equity settlement for mental health workers, but then within 2 hours of celebratory Christmas press releases from the PSA, A2 and the CTU, he had to directly go back on his verbal and written assurances to say the unions have got ahead of themselves. No announcement has been made and there will need to be a cabinet process.
Mr Speaker, obviously a long way from the primary question, but happy to answer.
Order. Member will resume his seat.
Yep.
Can I just say that whether things are close to or not is a matter for me, and any comment that the member makes is a reflection on me, and it will stop.
Mr Speaker, I welcome the member's interest in the unions and wish to assure him that I have written to the unions to express the government's interest in resolving an issue that was not resolved under the previous government's watch. The unions are excited and they have every right to be excited.
Dr Shane Reti.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. To the Minister, what will he say to the Green Party, who believed his election promises on wide-ranging medical marijuana reform, but go into Christmas saying, quote, "We are disappointed the bill does not provide coverage to all people suffering from conditions who could benefit from its use"?
Mr Speaker, the same press release the member is referring to also says that the Green Party are delighted with the progress being made. Look, we could always go further, and in fact there is a members' bill in the name of Chloe Swarbrick that will give the Parliament an opportunity to go further should it wish to. So this change that we are bringing to the House in terms of making medicinal cannabis more available and accessible is further than any government has gone in the past. We need to celebrate the progress, and then the Parliament will have an opportunity to test whether it wants to go further in the new year.
Supplementary.
Angie Warren-Clark.
Was loud. What announcements has he made about better health outcomes for people requiring medical cannabis?
Mr Speaker, today I have announced a comprehensive package to make medicinal cannabis accessible to those with a terminal illness or in chronic pain. This will include a statutory defence for those who are terminally ill. They will be able to use illicit cannabis products without fear of prosecution. We have also established a scheme to ensure medicinal cannabis products can be more easily imported and domestically manufactured.
Supplementary question, Matt Doocey.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. How does the Minister explain his official's admission at Health Select Committee today that despite the government's promise of action on mental health, he has made no decisions on changes to services and the details of his inquiry are not yet settled?
Mr Speaker, we will not take 9 years to make mental health a priority. This government is committed to a review of the mental health system. We're announcing a ministerial inquiry in the new year as part of our 100-day plan. We're making very real progress, unlike that prior government that took 9 years and did nothing.
The Honourable Simon Bridges.
Will the government support the members' bill in Chloe Swarbrick's name that the minister has raised in the House?
Mr Speaker, that is a conscience issue for which
that's exactly right. It is a conscience issue and has been so ruled. The Honourable Dr Jonathan Coleman.
Is he concerned that he can't back up his claims of problems with the bowel screening program, that he can't meet the expectations he generated on medicinal marijuana, and now he's publicly embarrassing the Prime Minister by making promises on mental health worker pay equity that he's then had to backtrack on?
No, if there's only one person in this House should be embarrassed, it's the member.
A point of order, the Right Honourable Bill.
Mr Speaker, I'm raising this as soon as I can, but before you, ruling in respect to a question,
sorry,
made mention that some issue was a conscience issue. Now, That is not the province of the Speaker, that's the province of caucuses, and should not be used as a way of determining what questions can or can't be answered.
No, just make it absolutely clear whether something is a conscience vote and a personal vote is a question for the Speaker. I have been asked, and I have so ruled, if a particular party decides to have a collective conscience, then that is a matter for the caucus.
I think it's an interesting ruling, and one that's certainly new to me. And I'd like you to point to somewhere in the Speaker's ruling that rulings that would say it is current convention, or perhaps indicate that you are going to bring down a new ruling to that effect.
Well, I just make it absolutely clear that whether or not an issue is a personal vote, both based on the fact that it's a conscience vote, is something that the Speaker is responsible for, and always has been. Well, there is not a point of order at the moment. We're not going to continue with that issue.
Mr. Speaker, a point of order.
As long as it's a new issue, Dr. Smith.
Mr. Speaker, I have been a member of this House for 30 years.
Is it a new issue, Dr. Smith?
This is the first occasion of which the Speaker has made a ruling about what
Dr.
is.
Smith will resume his seat. Mr. Brownlee, you're not going to try as well, are you?
Well,
because it is. We are getting.
You've left us in a difficult position.
Well, I've left you in the difficult position of asking you to have a look at standing orders, and I think if you look around 142, you'll work it out.
That is true. That is quite true. However, the question remains: have you decided this will not be a personal vote? This Chloe Swarbrick bill.
I have been. It's been inquired of me by members in this House as to whether it will be a personal vote on a conscience basis, and I have ruled yes, it will be. Right. Have we finished, Dr. Coleman? The Honourable Nikki Kay, question number 5.
Mr. Speaker, question